Hello, everyone. Welcome in here to TrendingPolitics.com live, Trending Politics Live. Can everyone hear me? Please let me know in the comments if everybody can hear me. We are currently live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, everywhere else. Jump in, everyone, and let me know in the comments if it's all working. Welcome in, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 21st. We got a lot of good things to, got a lot of great things to cover today, and I just am super glad that you guys are all on. All right, appreciate that. A couple more people confirm you guys can hear me and see me okay, and we will be on our way and getting started here. Welcome in, everyone. Please comment below. Let me know where you are commenting from, everyone. We had people from all over yesterday. Appreciate that, Jeff. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in here. So today we got a lot of topics to cover, everyone. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Okay, so we are live everywhere, and we're going to get started. So, as many of you may have heard, last night Tucker Carlson made a big revelation, and it shows where we're at today in this country when it comes to political discourse, when it comes to how we're supposed to treat each other. And the left has just taken this up to another level, another disgusting level, okay? So I'm going to bring this clip up for you guys right now. And Tucker Carlson is going to explain it entirely, what is going on. Because the New York Times, now they may not be planning to do it anymore because they got called out and names were named. But the New York Times were planning to publish a story in which they publicized Tucker Carlson's address. Now, if you guys don't already know, Tucker Carlson just had to move because the leftist mob tracked him down and found his address and threatened his wife and threatened his family. She had to call 911 from a closet because she was so afraid. So now the New York Times was planning on doing that again to him. And here is Tucker Carlson on that. And guys, as I play this video, let me know if you guys can hear it and see it okay. I want to make sure you guys can hear it entirely, okay? So I'm about to play it right now.
Before we go tonight, since this show began almost 4 years ago, I've really tried not to talk about myself on the air or even use the first-person pronoun. The last thing this country needs is more narcissism. It's not very interesting anyway. People who use the word I a lot tend to bore everyone but themselves. But tonight we're going to make an exception to that rule. We don't have much choice. Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong, and we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors, we've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us, to injure my wife and kids so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them. They believe in force. We've learned that. 2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife. She called 911 while hiding in a closet. A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it. It felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We'd raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now. They've hired a photographer called Tristan Spinsky to take pictures. Their story about where we live is slated to run in the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and I told them, but they didn't care. They hate my politics. They want this show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't consider it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise, to inflict pain on our family, to terrorize us, to control what we say. That's the kind of people they are. They'll deny this, of course. They'll claim it's just journalism, just the facts. Really? So how would Murray Carpenter and his photographer Tristan Spinsky feel if we told you where they live, if we put pictures of their homes on the air? What if we publicize the home address of every one of the soulless robot editors at the New York Times who assigned and managed this incitement to violence against my family? What about the media editor, Jim Windolf? We could do that. We know who they are. Would that qualify as journalism? We doubt they'd consider it journalism. They'd call it criminal behavior if we did it.
Yep.
And that tells you everything.
All right. So everyone, did you guys hear that? Now I had one person say to turn it up a little bit. This video, the audio that you hear is from the video file itself. So if I play a video for you guys and the audio sounds a little low, just turn up your volume on your device. And then when you come back to me, if it's still a little loud. So yeah, guys, think about that. We now have the New York Times who wanted to come out with a story, and Tucker Carlson, here's where he was very smart about it. Because he could have just said, you know, the New York Times, I think they're going to try to publish a story about me where they're going to dox me and my family. But he was very smart to get the right information and to name names, to tell them who was going to be taking the pictures, to say who was going to be writing the story. And once they did that, the New York Times last night on Twitter came out and said, we're not planning on posting a story with your home address. We would never do that. The reason why they're now saying that is because they were called out on it and because the story went viral before they could publish it. So Tucker Carlson got way ahead of this story. I don't know what his sources were or who got the inside scoop on this, but Tucker Carlson, thank God that he got it, because now the New York Times has openly denied it, but they've denied it so that they can save their own butts. They were planning on publishing a story knowing full and well that Tucker Carlson has 4 children and a wife and that Tucker Carlson works a lot. But guess what? They don't care. They don't care at all. Now, Tucker Carlson is also very right on this topic. Why would they do this? Why? We all know the reason why. It's because they don't like his politics. They don't like the way he talks about truth in the country. Now, Tucker Carlson is someone who, bless him, like, he talks truth about both sides. Trump isn't immune to criticism either with him. Tucker Carlson, of course, is more conservative, but he's the one who talks the truth. But he talks more truth about the Republican side than the left does. So the left doesn't like it. So what they want to do is, in a way, blackmail him. But if they were to publish his address, we all know the liberal mob would show up. We all know the liberal mob would show up. And the New York Times knows that. The New York Times knows that the mob would show up. But guess what? They don't care. They don't care. Now, this brings me to my next point, because this is all a larger part of bringing down Fox News. Now, if you guys don't know, excuse my French, but Fox News kicks everyone's ass. Okay? Fox News kicks major butt every single night. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, their shows, even The Five, they 3 or 4x the viewership as some of CNN's flagship shows. And think about this. A chunk of CNN's ratings comes from airports, hotels, waiting rooms at dentist offices. Even if CNN says, yeah, we had 700,000 viewers tonight. No, you didn't. You were on mute somewhere in the background in some dentist office. Like, you don't have this. But people who have Fox News are watching Fox News. So Fox News, even though everyone says, like, oh yeah, they are one of the most influential voices, and Sean Hannity is always talking about the truth. Tucker Carlson's always sharing the truth. The media wants to silence them. So now the media's next ploy is to bring up all of these sexual misconduct files against especially these 2 people. Tucker Carlson. Now, we all know that Ed Henry already got fired, but Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, now they're coming out about it. And guess what? One of the women who says that Tucker Carlson did something inappropriate, guess what? Her name is Kathy Aru. You guys may have seen her. She's very bizarre, very weird. She's saying we need to rename like everything in the world. So she's claiming sexual misconduct from Tucker Carlson. But look at her Twitter profile. Look at the picture right there. Can you tell me who that picture is with? That picture is with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson. So she's claiming that there was sexual misconduct. But guess what? If someone committed sexual misconduct of you, would you put their picture as your Twitter bio, as your Twitter cover? Would you? The answer is absolutely no. And I don't have comments turned on because I get too distracted. But I would imagine that everyone here says, if they would have had a traumatic experience with someone, would they have now put these people up on a pedestal by putting them as their cover photo? I don't think so. I don't think so. So this is all just a part of the left's attempt to take down Fox News. They want Fox News to be silenced before the election. They want them to be silenced before the election, and we can't let it happen. We got to keep up with this story. We got to keep understanding what's going on. My prediction is that the New York Times is going to drastically water down their story. I do believe wholeheartedly in Tucker. I believe that what he said was true. I believe that they were planning on doxing him because or if not doxing him, they would say, well, he lives in this neighborhood in Washington, D.C., and if you can track down the neighborhood, you can pretty much track down almost anyone, right? With the right people. So keep tabs on this story, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about the New York Times doxing or planning to dox Tucker Carlson. Now, I think he got ahead of the story, and I don't think it's going to happen anymore. So the next thing I want to talk about here is Jamel Hill. So Jamel Hill used to work for ESPN. She made a lot of waves last in 2017 when she said on Twitter during a Monday Night Football game that President Trump is a white supremacist, right? She made waves. She ended up losing her job, not because of what she said, but because her sports center got garbage ratings. She was unfunny. She was not entertaining. Her and her co-host did not drive the ratings. So guess what? They said goodbye to her. Well, now, as I'm sure you guys have seen, Jamel Hill straight up tweeted this the other night on Sunday night. If you vote for Donald Trump, you are a racist. You have no wiggle room. Think about that. Think about that. We now have someone who probably says this statement is more racist than anything Trump has ever said. But the more concerning part about this, you guys, is that this got almost 300,000 likes on Twitter. This is not just a fringe thinking on the left, you guys. Everyone, if we support the President of the United States, everyone thinks racist. Now, here's the great irony of all this. Are you guys ready? You guys ready for some great irony? You ready here, folks? She says, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're a racist. You have no wiggle room. Okay. But she also tweeted this a couple years ago. Yes, my mother voted for Trump. She's been voting Republican since post-Bill Clinton. So you got yourself in a pickle here, Jamel Hill. Are all Trump supporters racist? Or is your mother racist too for voting for him? She has yet to comment on this story, and I think we all know why. Because she's a giant hypocrite. Now, credit to her because her whole goal was to fire up the base of the left, and it worked. As you saw that she had 292,000 freaking likes on that tweet. So, this is the state of the left, people. Now, here's where things get taken even a step further, okay? Is that Clay Travis over at Outkick.com, go check out his stuff. He has amazing stuff. His team of media reporters, they reached out to ESPN asking to comment because ESPN is paying Jamel Hill a lot of money to produce a documentary with Colin Kaepernick in which they are inevitably going to crap on America. I mean, this is the scary part, folks, is that Disney is now hiring Colin Kaepernick and Jamel Hill to teach your kids about American history. So beware of that. So the guys at Outkick.com reached out to ESPN, and here's what he said. The Outkick crew reached out to ESPN to ask if the network agreed with Jamel Hill that all Trump supporters were racist. ESPN said, quote, no comment. No comment. Okay, guys? This right here is all you need to know about the left. Not only the left, but giant establishments like ESPN. Now, this pains me to say this, but I was never one of those people who was like this crazy Disney hater, but they're making me really question a lot of things. I mean, they've done a lot of shady things in the past. But now ESPN is refusing to comment, even though President Trump won damn near 30% of the Hispanic vote. His numbers with black voters is at an all-time high. Not only will Jamel Hill say that everyone who votes for Trump is racist, but now ESPN, who should be taking more of a middle ground here, says no comment. No comment. Can you guys imagine if someone went out, if one of ESPN's employees went out and said all of Barack Obama's supporters are racist, and they went to ESPN and asked for comment? What do you think ESPN would have done? ESPN would have got their PR team on it right away and said, no, like, we absolutely condemn this person and we're going to fire her. But guess what, guys? The rules are different for you and I. If we support someone politically, guess what? The rules are different for us. And this is the game that the big time liberals and the big time liberal media companies want us to play. They don't care about us, you guys. They really do sit up there in their huge towers and they think that we are truly racist, deplorable, or in their words, scum of the earth, as many of them have called. But guess what? We know that. President Trump, what does he call us? Americans. He calls us patriots, while the left calls us deplorable. And they wonder why people don't vote with them. You know, after the 2016 election, there was this guy who went viral. His name is Jonathan Pye. And he basically said, how do you think voters are going to talk to them when you call them racist, bigoted, basket of deplorables? How do you think people are going to vote when you talk to them like that? When you lie about them, when you slander them? On The View, they said that Trump's base is Klan-like. You guys, like, we cannot put up with this anymore. We have to expose this when we see it. We absolutely have to. So please let me know in the comments what you think about ESPN. Now remember, ESPN is owned by Disney. So don't think for a minute that some of this social justice warrior stuff is not going to be on Disney Plus. Okay? It already is happening, you guys. So let me know in the comments what you think about that, because this is getting this is getting crazy, you guys. We have many more people jumping on from all our different we're streaming to a bunch of different platforms, so we got a lot of people on here. So next thing I want to talk about is oh man, how many of you people out there remember a man named John Kasich, governor of Ohio? Was terrible in the 2016 election. He's a rhino of many of epic proportions. This man is not only not voting for President Trump in 2020, but he is going to be speaking at the Democrat National Convention on behalf of Joe Biden. Let that sink in, people. Let that sink in. John Kasich is now going to openly support a man who believes that abortion is just fine all up until a couple days before birth. It's her body, her choice, right? It doesn't matter if the baby can practically live, can live on its own outside the womb. But hey, you know what? It's okay to just end that life. Coming from a man who actually, which I'll show you in a minute, Joe Biden, he himself has said so many racist things. Joe Biden in the past has said, you can't go into a 7-Eleven without hearing a slight Indian accent. Joe Biden also said, if you have trouble deciding between me and Trump, you ain't black. That's what he told a black audience. This is the man that John Kasich now wants to support. But guess what? It's okay. Do you know why? It's because even without John Kasich's support in 2016, Trump absolutely obliterated Hillary in Ohio. He obliterated her in Ohio. He won by 9 points. It wasn't even close. So we don't need John Kasich's support. We don't need his supporters. If anything, it might hurt Biden that a Republican, Democrats are going to say, well, guys, this guy is not radical enough for us. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about John Kasich, the boring man himself, just going to speak at that stage. Who does he think is going to listen to him? Does he really think that far leftist audience is going to listen to him? It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. So this man that Joe Biden, or that John Kasich supports, Joe Biden, he has now come out and said that he wishes that Islam was taught more in schools. Let me say that again. Joe Biden wants Islam being taught more in schools. Now, do you know why he didn't say that Christianity should be taught more in schools? It's because his base would absolutely disown him. His base would disown him if he said that we should teach Christianity more in schools. So check this out from Joe Biden. These are his words, not mine.
Thank you for taking the time for watching today. Look, one of the things I think is important, I wish we taught more in our schools about the Islamic faith. I wish we taught.
So there you go, folks. He wants to teach more about the Islamic faith. And yeah, some people are saying it's already in schools. It is. But he is very clear about it. He wants it even more in all schools all across the country. So let me know what you guys think about that, because that is that's crazy. You guys all know that Islam not only, and by the way, here's the great irony of it all, is that the prophet of Islam, Muhammad, he had slaves. So wait, why is the left all admiring this person, this faith, when Muhammad owned slaves? Not only that, but he took children bride, 9 years old. But this is what the Democrats want to push. So let's move on to the next clip, because you're about to see a chilling new Trump ad that he just posted about Joe Biden. And you guys are going to want to see this. So we all know that Joe Biden has already committed to pulling funds away from the police. Okay, guys? This is absolutely nothing that he hasn't said. He has openly said he wants to take funding away from the police department. And this new Trump ad illustrates that to perfection.
Pledge to defund its police department by 50%, even including a proposal to remove 911 dispatchers from police control.
Joe Biden said he's absolutely on board with defunding the police. Listen closely.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, you've reached 911. I'm sorry that there is no one here to answer your emergency call, but leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Crime will rise significantly.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
So pay close attention to that, you guys. That's a chilling ad displaying what our country could look like if our police is defunded. Imagine calling a police department. And here's the thing about the left, you guys. Here's the thing about the left, is that they first said defund the police. In Minneapolis, they said we don't want any more police. They booed out the politicians when they said that they wouldn't have that they don't support the complete abolition of the police force. They booed them endlessly. But once they figured out that defunding the police is not a good campaign strategy, guess what they did? They started saying, well, we don't really mean to take away all their funds, even though that's what Minneapolis did. We just want to divert some of the money to other causes. This is their damage control, people, and do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. So now, it's this crazy game they play, people. Really follow me here. They first say defund the police, and then they say it doesn't mean defund the police. It just means to divert funds away from the police. But then Sean Hannity says, then Joe Biden says, hey, we want to divert funds away. And then Sean Hannity says, he wants to defund the police, and the left says, he didn't say that. He doesn't want to defund the police. He just wants to take, the mental game that they play with their words is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and we cannot let them get away with it. Anytime someone says this, you got to call them out on their words. You got to look at them and say, look, do you want to defund the police or not? Because if you don't want to completely defund the police, then stop running around chanting, defund the police. Stop it right now. So that is the mental game that you have to be aware with the liberals, you guys. They will try to they will try to pull that at any moment. And if you guys stand with our police officers, please comment below with the words "Back the Blue," "Back the Blue," or "Blue Lives Matter." Let me know in the comments. I want to see a bunch of Blue Lives Matter comments, you guys. So I always like to end off these live streams and these podcasts with a note of positivity. After we get all riled up for 20, 25 minutes, I like to kind of cool things down and let us go on our way. So I'm about to show you this hilarious parody video of these two comedians talking about the similarities between people who are woke and people who are racist. So the left likes to call themselves woke, but interestingly enough, all of the rules that they set up for being enlightened and progressive, they actually are pretty in line with the rules of the real racists. Not like us. Now they always call us racist, but just watch this, you guys. This is hilarious. So again, this is the similarities between woke people and racist people. Watch this.
Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. Hey, tell them what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree. It is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white-owned?
White people should be making white foods, like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks, and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
I guess the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I. But we're still cool with interracial cucking, right?
Yeah, as long as you pay for it. Sex work should be celebrated.
So, so you guys, you see the irony in here? Like, you know, the woke person is supposed to represent the liberal person. The racist person is supposed to represent the actual racist people out there in the society. And you'll find that the woke liberals believe basically the same things that truly racist people believe. You guys, they don't want Aunt Jemima on. They don't want they don't want white voice actors voicing black people. They don't want that kind of diversity. They don't want anything. They don't want interracial dating because the left says, well, if you date within your race, then blah, blah, blah. So you guys, that video, I think his name was Ryan Adams Comedy. I'll get the link as well. But guys, go look that up. Go give them a shout out because they are hilarious. But we're just about at the 30-minute mark. So I appreciate every single person on here again. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us today. And we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Facebook, right here on YouTube. We'll send out notifications about it. We'll keep going, okay, guys? Everyone have a great rest of your day, and I'll be chatting with you guys.